Howdy ho, partner Joe. How you doing? It's Monday, the 2nd of November, or Tuesday, November 3rd. Just a review from last week. We worked on The Scarlet Ibis, a little short story, and talking about symbolism and allegory. And then there was a quiz on The Scarlet Ibis that is on Schoology in the fiction folder. So see if you can pick up on the symbolism and allegory in that story. We took the quiz, as I said, and the Scarlet Ibis is a symbol representing Doodle in the story as the allegory of taking care of the ones that we love, even if they are different from others in the story, as a deeper meaning in allegory. Today we'll look at Grammar Mod 5, and I'll look at Lesson 11 and 12. Remember, grammar is due coming up on November 13th. I'm going to try to do a couple of benchmark practice tests, Quizlets, and Kahoots with you, as you have a big test in about a week over benchmark 1, 2, 3, and 4. I just have this slide here to remind you that theme is the overall message in a story. So if it's stated straight out, it's called explicit theme, like if it says it like little kids' books. But most themes as you're older are implicit. You have to figure out what is the underlying message to be learned. And lastly, we are going to look at informational text in the Upfront magazine. I will be handing that out in a little bit, and then we'll be working through something in the Upfront magazine. Reminder, Grammar 101 Mod 5 is due November 13th. Independent reading, you should be working on the weekly reading docs 7 through 9. You should be finishing part 8. And again, that is due November 13th as well. And Google Meet is going to be happening as optional this week. So that would be optional this week. So I'm going to back up here to our Grammar 101 items. It's kind of going slow here. Okay, so Grammar 101, Mod 5. Let's just look a little bit at this YouTube video because we talked about subject complements and object complements. Okay, so we're going to look at a video for Lesson 11. Object complements are distinguishing between object and complement. Okay, so let me get this video rolling. Takes a little bit of time here. If it maybe stops. There we go. Maybe it's gonna go.
Hello students, welcome to Anup Sir's Education Lab. In this video today, we will understand subject, predicate and object in a sentence of English grammar. So, without further delay, let us jump to the topic. Rina is waiting for you. This sentence tells us what Rina is doing. She is doing the action of waiting. Tells us what Tina is. She is a good girl. So, here, Tina becomes the subject because it tells us her state.
Okay, so I'm going to fast forward this a little bit.
Healthy boy is the subject of the sentence because he is doing an action.
Okay, now we're going to go to
Part of
predicate.
the sentence that tells us something about the subject. That means it describes the subject. Note, each predicate must have a finite verb.
Okay, so let's look at
because
she walks in the garden. She is the subject, and then walks in the garden is the predicate. I, as the subject, can live without food till 2 o'clock would be the predicate. Okay, so now we want to look at object.
In that sentence, That means when a subject does an action, an object receives the effect of that action. Let us see a few examples. Rohit killed a tiger. Here,
okay, Rohit killed what? Tiger. So that would be the object. So that was some review from before. Rohan kicked the ball. Kicked what? Ball. So therefore, it is an object. Okay. All right, so that was a little review for different kinds of objects. You have direct objects. You say the verb and who or what. An indirect object, to whom or for whom. Okay, so you have to have a DO to have an IO. Okay, so that is part of Grammar 101. And classifying verbs, we're going to do a quizzes at this time. And then after the quizzes for classifying verbs, then we're going to move on to the Upfront magazine and a couple of practices for benchmark 1 and 2. So at this time, everybody take out your Chromebook and open up to a quizzes, and we will get ready to complete one of those and do nonfiction, the Upfront magazine in just a moment.